Hello, Lights Out Ace here, and today I'm going to be recording a gameplay video for RNGEternal.com with the Stonescar Callus deck I wrote about last week. I'm still using Jarbo's list. I tried out a lot of stuff. I tried the Witching Hour, as RNG talked about in our video a couple weeks ago on YouTube where we were going over tournament results, but it's really hard to get the 6 Shadow influence, even playing a couple of Vara's favors and swapping one of these Fire Sigils for a Shadow Sigil. It just wasn't able to consistently come into play when it was still relevant. So I'm still sticking with Jarbo's list. For those who aren't familiar, this is a synergy deck using a lot of token generators like Grenadin Drone, Slumbering Stone, Assembly Line, Torrent of Spiders, Recalculator, and then the payoff cards for creating all of these small throwaway units is Bloodright Callus, Oblivion Spike, and very efficient removal and draw in Combust and Devour. So we're going to hop online for a few games and we'll see how it goes. So I've been playing this deck a lot, and in general it's very good against decks that want to try and get through on the ground like Rakano, but it is an abysmal matchup against Shimmer Pack, so you kind of have to hope to dodge that. And looking at this hand, we would like to draw another power, set this champion to be on, preferably a Fire Sigil, just so that it is a 4/4. But we're going to keep. It has some things that it can do. Slumbering Stone is a good sacrifice to Combust. And then we have Dark Wisp to hopefully draw towards that extra power. So this is almost assuredly Ikaria Blue, based on this Seed of Fury here. So that means that this Oblivion Spike is going to be very powerful. I'm going to run out Dark Wisp first just to be power efficient. And basically this is going to come down to whether they draw enough Lightning Storms to kill all of our token producers. Right now they're just building their power base, and with this amount of Seek Power and Inspire, they're going to be able to hit all of their influence on time, which Ikaria Blue sometimes has trouble with as a 3-faction deck. Okay, so here I'm going to play Assembly Line. It sort of plays into a Harsh Rule more, but it'll still get 1 turn of attacking uninhibited, and with this champion getting locked down, I'm not getting through any damage otherwise. And then next turn I get to put down the Slumbering Stone to provide some insurance against a sweeper. Like, even if I get swept, I'll still have a unit left over. And I'll get the draw card off the Dark Wisp. Wow, torching a 1/1. That's very good for us. Torching 2 1/1s. I am extremely happy for them to have traded 2 cards for 2/3 of our assembly line. It also probably indicates they do not have a sweeper, so if I had another good unit, I could run it out here safely. But I don't, so we're just going to be on the Slumbering Stone and peck away for 2 a turn plan. We also have Smuggler's Stash to buy back this Oblivion Spike, so we're going to be able to go very long this game. And in fact, it is looking quite good, even if they Harsh Rule here and then start locking this down. We're just a couple power off being able to do some very powerful things at 5 power. So they still have another Sigil in hand. Obliterate. Okay, that's fine. Another 1/1, and now we actually get an attack in with this, put them into single digits. Excellent. Now we are very happy to draw any power or any non-power cards. So every draw is going to be great for us. Staff of Stories. That's normally somewhat troublesome, but we drew that power right on time and we're able to kill the Staff of Stories before they can draw some extra cards with it. So basically just fogged, preventing us from dealing any damage for 1 turn. And Oblivion Spike is also out of range of Lightning Strike, so it's just very, very hard for them to deal with. Like, they need exactly Ikaria, and even then we have 2 good fodder units for our combusts to kill her. That's probably getting a Karia. But I think we will be okay. They're going to go down to 4 here. Never mind. That's just game. They don't play any ambush units, so I don't need to worry about this backfiring. That was a nicely set up Callus, even if the game wasn't over now, because even if they had a unit, we still have a blocker. Anytime that you can play Callus when you have a Recogulator, Speak of the Devil, or a Summoning Stone in play, it's very, very good, because then your Callus will usually live for multiple turns to be able to pick off priority targets. We're just going to hop right back in. We'll probably play for about an hour, so 6 to 10 games, depending on how it goes. So this hand is pretty power heavy. It does have Summoning Stone into Devour, which is a nice start, but that basically just redraws our hand, and we get a free redraw anyways, so I'm going to take that option. This hand is very slow and we need to draw some power, but if we draw a couple of token producers, we're going to be in fine shape, assuming this is a unit-based matchup. So they're either on a control deck, where these cards are all going to be useless, like TPGA control, or they are Combrei, in which case these are going to be the best cards in our deck. And Combrei is a lot more common, so we're going to hope it's that. And again, no play. They don't have any fire, so I feel okay running out a 3/3 Champion of Chaos. Against fire decks, I will not run this out until it is at least a 4/4, because I don't want to die to Torch, which otherwise has 0 good targets against my deck. Like, it just kills a Grenadin or like a Recogulator, which makes more Grenadin. That's sort of unfortunate, but we just had a 3/3 anyways. Missed on power, which is kind of awkward, because now we can't deploy this and Torch. But I assume they're not going to block them. I'm just going to play this and take 3. I'm somewhat the aggressor against slow Combrei decks, which it looks like this is. Like, they missed their 2-drop. So they're probably playing stuff like Martial Ironthorn. Interesting. They blocked. Well. So that means their hand must be very slow. They don't want to take any damage. They're willing to trade their better flyer for our ground pounding unit that had no abilities. So they probably have a bunch of Ironthorns, Mystic Ascendants, that sort of thing. Yeah, and we still find a good target for our Torch. Oh, this is excellent. So now once they play their first large unit, like a Sandstone Titan, we'll be able to combust it using the Slumbering Stone as a sacrifice fodder, which will get us a flyer. And I'm just going to combust any reasonable target since we have 2 combusts and don't need to really worry about it. That's not really a reasonable target, though. I'm going to let that go. Hopefully they trade it again. They don't. But we can easily win this race. So they're probably going to Desert Marshal this. That seemed to be what they were indicating. So I want to just combust this at the first opportunity. Yeah, so if they have Desert Marshal, they're going to silence this block. So I think I'm just going to combust it and get the Grenadin now while I can. With Desert Marshal, this being a 2/1 and this being a 2/1, these 1/1s are actually valuable bodies. I have another combust if Psychosis actually plays a frightening unit. So now their best play is to just play this Desert Marshal and trade both of them for the Champion of Chaos. We're very okay with that. Oh, it wasn't Desert Marshal. It was Scorpion Wasp. Well, that's okay. We're doing fine on board here. I want to save this Torrent until we have some more units. We only have 3 right now. So once these hit the bin, then we'll make an extra spider. And getting a bunch of spiders is very good. They don't have a whole lot of flyers, and they already used 2 of their Vault Reinforcers. Although no play there makes me quite curious. They're probably sitting on harsh rules. Again, another reason to hold this back. Very good to recover from harsh rule with a bunch of deadly spiders. And there stops my attacks. So a Callus would be really good right now. A Devour would be quite good. Okay. Well, I have a torch, so I can attack now if I want. Which, I suppose I do. Waiting doesn't benefit me. It's gonna throw away 2 units. Just kill this bigger one. I just want to kind of bait them into doing something. Because now they're just sitting here with his hand. Yeah, there we go. A predatory carnosaur. We can combust that. Well, now we don't even need to. With 2 torrents, I feel okay putting one out here. Now I can see what I mean about this just totally invalidating the ground. Like, I don't care how many dinosaurs he has. It's not getting through this line of Direfang spiders. So we're able to just sort of sit here until we draw Callus or an Oblivion Spike. I'm only attack with 1 in case they have a silence. I don't want to take 6. And I'm fine trading this with a 2-2. Yep, and that's why we held back 2 of them. Alright, so how many units do we have now? 1, 2, 5, 7. Oh, silenced both of them. That is not so great. Well, I'm going to put the one at 0 power in front. So that gives me 8 units in the yard. 1 more. Yep, so now we're going to combust this, and then we'll be able to torrent for 4 spiders. Well, now I'm actually just going to combust this to get a flyer while there's no Sandstorm Titan. I am somewhat worried about Harsh Rule now, but I'm not going to win if I just sit back forever. I would have thought their hand was all Mystic Ascendants because they were sitting there not playing power or units for a long time, and now they played power before playing another Ascendant. Ah, the Great Parliament, I see. Well, that just means that we need to draw a Callus or something sooner rather than later. Yeah, I'm fine with these getting silenced. I have chump blockers for days. Smuggler's Staff should also be good because we could rebuy a whole bunch of blockers. We only have 2 turns to draw something though. And our forces are dwindling fast. Leave back just enough blockers for the predatory carnosaurs. There's no need to play out excess power in this deck because you have no card draw besides Devour. So you can hold 1 in your hand without getting punished and feeling silly. Alright, one last chance. Even Callus doesn't do it now, and it's just another power. Alright, we are dead. Happens sometimes. You're playing a synergy deck, and if you don't draw your payoff cards, you appear fairly anemic. Well, this hand is quite good. Run the draw, so we'll hopefully find our third power on turn 3. We just have all kinds of early stuff to do. Perfect. So a 4/4 deadly champion, which is better than an overwhelm one. Perhaps Felm control, which is another control matchup that depends entirely on drawing your relic weapons. They have a lot of trouble dealing with those, and you have a lot of trouble getting through enough damage with just units. All of your units are 1/1, so they all get annihilated by Black Site Harbinger and Lightning Storm. That's not what we want to see. They have literally 0 targets for that. This champion will get some damage in, though. They have nothing that can effectively block it. Unless they play Steward of the Past. But that actually is a target for Annihilate, so I hope they do play that. Steward is actually really, really brutal against this deck, and pretty much the whole reason why Annihilate is in here. Like, a lot of decks can't beat Sandstorm Titan. This deck can't beat Steward of the Past. Oh no, double Lightning Storm. That's brutal. That card is so good against us. Guess we're just gonna make a couple of spiders. And then we're gonna hope we draw an Oblivion Spike real quick. Alright, well, we can kill that. That's nice. Finding a good place to use Torch is pretty rare in this matchup, so anytime you get something like that, you're very happy. Killing a powerful relic weapon with it. The smaller stash certainly doesn't hurt, but it's way, way better if we have some weapons. So I just love to draw a relic weapon. Excellent. We don't have the power for it yet, but we will get there. They are quite slow and will give us plenty of time. This is also a very good answer to Black Site Harbinger or Felm Bloodcaster. It can hit them and live to tell a tale. So, 5 armor on that. Quite good. Ugh, Vara's favor on our 1/1's less good. Yeah, all of these little ping effects get such good value. Oh boy. Well, I guess we can Oblivion Spike it. Debating just devouring right here, looking for power. Or another unit. Could maybe combust. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Well, there's the other combust. Okay, so the plan now is to use Oblivion Spike to kill this, and then stash it back, and then hopefully win the game with the Oblivion Spike. And as long as I don't have double Lightning Strike, we'll be okay. Yep, Celestial Omen is totally fine. I doubt they'll fetch Backlash against this deck. So we're able to get the removal mode of Oblivion Spike. And now hopefully we'll be able to get the grind mode. Oh, and Vara. That's cool. Really, really bad for us, but cool. So this is completely invalidated by stuff like Torrent Spiders. So we could Recalculator and then Combust it to hurt this thing. Chump. That would put us to 9 units in the void, so we'd be able to get 4 spiders. So I think we're going to go for that. We'll take some damage, but that doesn't really matter. This deck isn't going to be able to burn us out in any meaningful way. Yep, unfortunate, but it happens. I'll make some spiders. Kill their 5/5. And hopefully draw... Ooh. Let's say hopefully draw a power so you can smother stash and put out a unit in the same turn, but we are dead before we can smother stash back that Oblivion Spike. That Varro was pretty brutal. You do not often see that. That was in Serino's tournament winning deck list, but you usually don't see tournament deck lists like that on the ladder since they're tuned for a much slower metagame than the Rakano and Stonescar burn infested ladder. This hand's just way too slow. Alright, we are gonna play a giant Callus. I love it when this happens. Oni Ronin is just so embarrassing against Grenade and Drone. He probably doesn't even attack out of shame. I think it's correct to attack, because you're never going to get anything better than trading this 2 with the 1/1. And now you get the Warcry earlier in the game at least. But yep. It's just too embarrassing. So I'm actually not going to attack with either. I don't want a Torch to give them a free Warcry. Like if I attack with one and they can Torch my other one and get in a free Warcry trigger. In Vara's favor. Yep, decision validated. Oh, Suffocate. I guess they do get their trigger in, but if they're spending a actual removal spell on my Grenadin, I'm happy with that. But that's so we can get to Triple Shadow, Champion of Chaos. Don't want to play this as a 3/3 against a deck that could have Torch. Okay, so at this point I can make a 6/6 Callus and attack them with Impending Doom. But then my Callus will in turn be removed by Oni Ronin. And that is okay because I can then Smuggler stash it back. So I think we are just going to do it. Can't afford to take repeated hits from this Impending Doom against Stonescar Burn. So when we stash this back and replay it in a few turns, it'll be a 12/12 or so, and that should put us out of burn range. But I do need to prioritize doing that once the board is stable. Otherwise, it's very easy to just get double obliterated. That is exactly what we want to see. Now we can play our Callus and have this up defending. So what to do this turn? So we can stash back all of the stuff that's in our void. Then next turn we can go Stone, Grenadin Drone, Callus. Kill this. They will have a Rodin plus whatever they play next turn. Alternatively, we can play Champion of Chaos plus Stone, and next turn Smuggler Stash. And that's very slow. So yeah, we're going to Smuggler Stash here. Let's get some Grenadin. Get back the all-important Callus. This is going to be 6, 8, 10, 14, 14. Obliterate Callus. And I'll have a 2/2 flyer from the Slumbering Stone protecting it. And they are not going to play another unit, it looks like, which is very, very good for us. So they have a Fire Sigil plus an Unknown, probably a Flame Blast in hand. And turns like this one are why you play this deck. Let's do it. Could Torch this Ronin instead. I'd rather gain 2 health. Now we managed to kill an Impending Doom and gain 9 health. Gonna snap block if this Ronin attacks. Then I get to follow up with this Champion of Chaos while this Callus continues murdering everything. Yep, my last card is an Obliterate. Okay, Callus lives. If they don't draw a burn spell this exact turn, they will die to Callus. And even if they do, they will die to Champion. Smuggler's Stash doing some work. Feels good, man. I've been playing this Callus deck a lot in Masters, and it's been holding its own, going slightly positive, fairly even against everything except for Shimmer Pack. So it might look goofy, but it is a legitimate deck. Probably not the fastest way to climb up through the ranks, but once you're already in Masters, you won't lose too many ranks playing it. If you're playing against mostly Rakano and Combrei, I think you will be pleasantly surprised at how good your matchups are. So this hand is really slow. Both these are going to come into play depleted. It has Dark Wisp Combust, which is so good. And then Assembly Line is our best 3-drop, so I'm just going to keep it, especially on the draw. If we draw, I guess exactly a Sigil, then our power is perfect. Stonescar? Perhaps? Alright, so I played the thing I was going to play Wisp and Stonescar banner, but that only matters if I draw exactly Torch. Whereas now if I draw a Sigil, well, it won't matter. Alright, it didn't matter which power I played, and it sucks that our Wisp got Treachery. But at least they're not playing to the board. Wisp isn't exactly a high-value target for Treachery. Not that our deck has those, but compared to other decks, units that might get Treachery. And usually Felnscar has a lot of spot removal, and spot removal is just atrocious against stuff like Assembly Line. Rain of Frogs. How is this deck winning any games against Aggro? Alright, so probably take Smuggler's Stash. They could get 2 for 1 with Combust, but I just don't think they care about Combust, and Smuggler's Stash is how we win this game. Alright, I'm very okay with that. So the question here is, do we think they have a Lightning Storm? And they probably do, so I'm not going to play these frogs yet. Zero-cost units are also insane with Stonescar, with a Blood Red Callus, as you might imagine, so that's all the more reason to hold on to those. Ah, now we're going to get Lightning Stormed anyways. It's still a 2 for 2, really, though. We used Assembly Line and Recalculator, and they used Torch and Lightning Storm, so, like, I bet they felt good killing 5 things with that, but it wasn't really card advantage. And now we're going to be able to Smuggler's Stash. Only Dark Wisp and Recalculator so far. Black Iron Manacles? What is this madness? I guess I'll take a few damage to cast my Smuggler's Stash with this Black Iron Manacles in play. No relic weapons, sad. And they continue holding on to these frogs. We know they play Lightning Storm. We are winning the race against this Black Iron Manacles quite handily. And grinding them out fairly efficiently. Unless they play a Statuary Maiden. Sure. Recalculated probably. That's quite good. Okay, so how many units do we have in the void? 6. So if these die, that would be 9. If all of these die, that would be 12. So I'm okay running these into a Lightning Storm now because that would get me an extra Spider off Torrent. And I'll draw a card off Dark Wisp. Well, kind of missing my Combust now. Well, not really. That champion can only block 1 unit, so we're still pushing through a lot of damage. I'm going to hold off 1 more turn this tournament. I have a feeling they have some sort of removal for this. If they don't, we have lethal anyways. Okay, that is very good. Whatever gets blocked, it can devour. Unless they block this, in which case we'll devour the wisp post-combat. Well, that just looks like lethal damage to me. Oh, super lethal. Okay. Fight! Hold this. Not sure what that deck was. Black Iron Manacles plus discard, I guess, is the main combo. But without Mill Stranger, there's not really an easy way to make Black Iron Manacles kill your opponent really quickly anymore. And I do miss Mill Stranger. That was a sweet card. Tyrael. Uh-oh. The Angel of Judgment. This hand's great. The Dream Curve. Turn 1 Guardian Drone. Turn 2 Devour. With a Combust for backup. I just really hope that they're playing a unit-based deck, because our hand is all removal. But most decks are unit-based, so it's pretty safe to keep hands that are only good against unit-based decks. Yeah, if they're leading with the Fire Monument, they're definitely a unit deck. So I could Devour or I could Slumbering Stone. I'm actually going to Stone. So this way, this is better to sacrifice to Devour or Combust because it doesn't take power off the board. It actually adds it to the board. And then also holding up Torch for the first time my opponent is going to have undepleted power. Means I can probably snipe something with it. They play an Argenport Instigator or something. Ah. But Punish. Should have held up Devour. Not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure they'll have more removal. Poke for 1. Gonna play Devour right away. Hope we can draw power. And this gives them a good target for their Torch. Whatever. Me hitting my power on time is more important. Next you'll be able to play a 4-4 champion. Definitely worth sacrificing that 0-2. So this is more of a Queen type deck than a Stonescar Burn type deck. Playing a whole bunch of Pyro Knights. So we're gonna attack with both. We're ahead on health thanks to that Devour, so I think we're the aggressor here. And I have Annihilate for this if it does end up getting out of control. I just want to put on some pressure for now. Alright. This card is pretty crippling, but we have the Annihilate. A space. Eventually they're going to have to make the embarrassing trade of Pyro Knight for Grenadin. They probably should have done it this turn. Because they might not get another chance. That's another good thing about this deck. With the exception of Champion, there are no good targets for Obliterate. And even there, the Obliterate traded 5 power for 3, and we got in a bunch of damage. Alright, so I think we'll again give them the option to trade and then play Recalculator. They neither attacked nor blocked with that Pyro Knight last turn, which is probably a mistake. Even if they make it a 6-5 here, we combust it and that's game. removal is quite bad against us. So I think I'm actually going to not Wisp plus Combust. It would put them on a 2-turn clock, but if they draw a scary unit, I don't want to get brickwalled. And they still don't trade. I wonder what our opponent is thinking here. Making this a 6/5 isn't going to help anything. They're just going to get swarmed around. Alright, well now we'll combust. They have to have fast removal, or they're just dead on the spot. Even if they have it, they're still in really bad shape. Okay, they just had nothing. This sure is fun. I've even drawn Bloodright Callus for several games and just mediocre token beatdown, making all of our opponents' removal spells super awkward, is getting the job done. Only one power, only one faction. We're gonna redraw. Alright, still kind of low on power, but hopefully this Dark Wisp gets us there. This card is really the MVP. Helping you find your power on time. Making their Oni Ronins really bad. I'm going to play this over the Granite Drone. If they have a removal spell and they get that Warcry, that's okay. I really need to draw that 3rd power. And then the 4th shortly after. Oh boy, I'm going to trade a Granite Drone for a Crown Launch Paladin. I'm going to hold the torch. If they put some weapon on this, I'll torch it. Probably not going to happen, but if they play a Valkyrie Enforcer, I want to torch. Or a Champion of Glory. Torch is a really, really powerful card. Alright. We're sort of falling behind here, but even if we have to chump block a whole bunch, this Torn of Spiders is going to bring us back in the game, barring Elder's Feather. So I'm not frightened, really. The only card that truly scares me is Soulfire Drake, and I suppose also Deep Forge Plate. Which they now have the power to play, so cross our fingers and hope they don't have that. Okay, so Finest Hour or whatever can save something, but and they're using tricks to kill my 1/1s that draw me cards. So I'm just going to block across the board. Yep. Oh my, they're going to gain 10 health. Then we're going to play some Deadly Spiders. It's just 2 right now. Could conceivably have removal, but I don't want them to gain 1 billion life. Yeah, I'm going to go for an assembly line here. It still only takes 2 Grenadin to trade with this. So they're going to make them use up another trick. And then if they have a trick to save this Carnage Paladin again, then we'll play 3 Deadly Spiders. Oof, quick draw, the bane of our existence. So a multi-faction quick draw unit we have no answer to other than chump block endlessly. So let the chump blocks begin. Eventually we'll draw a Combustor, a Callus, and be able to punch through. I'm actually going to trade with a 1/1 instead of the 2/2. Just in case we do draw a Chalice, we will have some Gradin left over to block and protect that Chalice. Callus, not Chalice. So it could Devour here. Or it could just play another Recogulator. Gonna be power efficient. I'm just gonna take this one down to 19. There was no stop last turn, so I know they don't have any way to like super buff this up and then give it a Righteous Fury. Okay, so it's gonna play this in Chump Devour. You have a lot of answers, just gotta draw one. There it is. So now, do we just make an 8/8? Or do we go big? I think we just make an 8/8 since we'll have a ton of blockers, and then we can Smuggler's Stash and do it all again. Finest Hour would mess us up here, but again, we know they don't have anything. And this is just such a typical Rakano game. Like, they made some giant unit, we jump blocked it until we drew some way to deal with it. I'm totally fine trading this first Callus in. And we're going to make some more units. 4 spiders here. I think that is a good amount. Now we can start swarming around here, plus Oblivion spiking whenever they play. Alright, so we're gonna play it safe and only attack with some deadly spiders. We have so much health with this Callus and Smuggler stashing back a large Callus. We don't have to worry about getting burned out or anything, even if they play Drake. Okay. Actually going to attack down the 2/2. Oh, they conceded before we got to really go off. It's kind of sad. Alright. I'm gonna play one more game. That was a good place to end, but I'm having so much fun that I don't want to stop. Hopefully we don't just get power screwed and beat down in 5 turns and have to end on a low note. Alright, so this is quite power heavy, and we can't even go turn 1 Stone, turn 2 Devour, because all of our Shadow comes into play depleted, so we're going to redraw. Yeah, so now we have that same opening sequence, but we can actually do it turns 1 and 2, and then we actually have a good follow-up with Assembly Line Callus. And our opponent gives us a friendly hello, so we'll give it back. So if they're on Shimmer Pack, that is real bad for us. But they didn't play anything the first 2 turns, so maybe they're on Elysian mid-range. Nope, certainly Shimmer Pack. Okay, this is going to be a 10-10 Callus on turn 4, and that's going to hopefully carry us through. It's pretty much your only hope against this sort of deck. So you need to draw power right now. Oh, wow. Okay, that was step 1. And they did not play a unit, instead polymorphing our Wisp. So they chose to deny us a draw rather than develop their board. So this Callus might actually do it. Yeah, they only have 1 unit in play. Wow. Alright. If they don't draw a big token producer like a scouting party, then I think this Callus is going to be able to control the board. So they're either extremely flooded or just have expensive units in hand. Or it's our removal, and removal is really bad against us. I'm going to start by devouring this permafrosted unit. Permafrost is even worse than most removal against this deck, so you can sacrifice for value. Alright, well, there's 40% of their health. We'll annihilate whatever they play this turn. Chunk another 10 off. Stash it back if it comes to that. Huh. Our opponent just drew our removal and expensive cards. Thanks everybody for watching. This has been Lights Out Ace for RNGEternal.com. And until next time, may all of your calluses be 10/10s. See ya.